Steve, and I'm here with Kevin Howell, who is running on the Republican ticket for the Allen County Council, District 1, against Maye Johnson. Kevin, appreciate your time today.
Good to be here.
Okay. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your background?
Well, I'm born and raised in Fort Wayne, educated here. Went to Weiser Park Junior High School, dates me a little bit, and graduated from Elmhurst High School in 1974. I went out to Washington, D.C., Howard University, graduated from there in class of 78, graduated with my degree in 1980 in U.S. history. Came back home for a minute, worked in the Win Moses administration in 81 through 83, and I came back just in time when Harvester was literally leaving. So we lost 10,000 jobs, and I was in the Department of Economic Development, first job out of college. And it was an exciting time, but it was also a very anxious time, and somewhat of a downturn for sure, because it's a lot of jobs affected not only Fort Wayne, but Allen County, really Northeast Indiana. We're talking about that magnitude of jobs leaving at one point. Mm-hmm. So we worked through that in terms of laying the groundwork for an economic revival in Fort Wayne, Northeast Indiana. And the result of that really was the Bearfield Thruway, as well as the 469 extension, or the I-69 extension as they call it, around Fort Wayne, New Haven. So the genesis of that started out of the Harvester leaving. It was our 20-year plan under Mayor Moses, and today we're looking better than we were then, but we're still suffering the effects of losing 10,000 jobs in the community. The area that I'm working in, the area that I'm campaigning for, Southeast Allen County, was hit the hardest because that provided most of the tax base for the school system, East Allen County schools, as well as other businesses, small businesses that fed off of Harvester, as well as residential development, which ground pretty much to a halt in the 1970s because there was no tax base to support residential development and infrastructure improvement too. So after that, I left in 1983, wanted to join the Marine Corps, wasn't ready to settle down yet here in town. Did that from 1983 to 1987, active duty. Traveled around the world, eight or nine countries, but the biggest one obviously being Okinawa, Japan. Spent 10 years in the Marines, both active and reserve. Came back in 1987 to help a young lawyer named Paul Helmke, who was running for mayor. I got back in September, and I helped him, I think, 2 weeks later. Didn't really know him. I knew the name. He won, and I became his administrative assistant, which in the way he had the government formed was I was the number 3 guy in city government. You had the mayor, chief of staff, and you had the administrative assistant. And part of my duties, among a lot of things I had to do, was to make sure I knew the budget, line item budget, because every public dollar spent has literally a line item, be it water, be it sewage, be it community services, you name it. Everything literally has a line item. And I had to know that, give him a report on it, give him options as to what he wanted to choose and not choose, and why. So I dealt with all aspects of city government.
Okay. Why are you running for county council?
Primarily out of frustration. Southeast Allen County is where I grew up primarily. Exclusively is where I grew up, in Southeast Allen County, Southeast Fort Wayne, as well as Allen County, obviously. And I see the slow decline of that part of the county, Fort Wayne, Southeast Fort Wayne, including, again, New Haven, Monroeville, Hoagland, all the way out to the Indiana-Ohio line, relative to the rest of Allen County. In other words, Northeast Allen County is doing pretty good, very good. A lot of shopping centers out there, a lot of housing developments. Northwest Allen County, same thing. School system, Northwest Allen County school system, one of the best in the county. Southwest Allen County speaks for itself. It has shopping malls over there, it has new residential development, good school system. But Southeast Allen County as a whole, relative to the entire Allen County, is absolutely behind. Now, there's several ways to look at it. It can be looked at as a negative or as a positive in terms of its potential. I choose to look at it in a positive light, i.e., relative to my position that I had in city government working in the Department of Economic Development when Harvester left. And up there then, in the 80s, and they probably have it right now, they had what we call big view books. And they're big oversized books. And basically it's a wish list of where you want to see your city, your county, or your part of the state 20 years from now. So part of our job was to look at that book and to see what Fort Wayne could be in 20 years and start laying the foundation for that development to become a reality. When I looked at the book back in the 1980s, 81, 82, the vision was to have a Bearfield Thruway, was to have a place where there would be economic development out near Bearfield. At that time it was called Bearfield. And there was the proposed extension again, the 469, connecting I-69 on the south with I-69 on the north by way of 469. This is 20-something years ago. Obviously it's here. So that's the vision that I have for Southeast Allen County. It's not going to happen overnight. We didn't go down the hill, if you will, overnight. We're not going to climb back up the hill overnight either. But you have to start where you start. Part of the problem for sure is that there's a lack of infrastructure leading out or going far enough outside the city to really connect up with 469, which goes around Southeast Allen County and New Haven. And until you really have that, that is, we're talking about water, sewage, electric, in great numbers, enough to support major businesses, then the economic development is going to be limited. It's not going to come to a standstill, but it will be limited in terms of what you can do, certainly in terms of factories and what have you. However, with the Maple Crest Thruway coming through from the Maple Crest Road on the north, through and over the tracks, train tracks, and up, looking up with 469 on the south, that's going to be the genesis, in my personal opinion, of a revitalization of the entire Southeast Allen County. Obviously, because you'll have economic development there just in the building of the thruway, and finally, the connection of the infrastructure at the same time, so they can support those businesses that definitely want to seek to be there, because it's an underserved area economically, as well as the residential development, because it's an underserved residentially too. There hasn't been any new developments in Southeast Fort Wayne since the late 70s. That was the last major economic development or residential development. And it wasn't because folks didn't want to live in Southeast Fort Wayne or Southeast Allen County, but again, the infrastructure wasn't there. Harvester was about ready to leave and it just came to a grinding halt. Economic development leads the way, and then residential development follows economic development. It's not the other way around. It's never, I don't say never, but I've never seen it follow the other way around. You have to have businesses and corporations out there first to draw the residential development and the good schools, what have you. That always follows.
Mm-hmm. So what specifically would you do on county council to kind of get some of that going down in the southeast corner?
Well, quite frankly, as I said not too long ago, I'm more than willing to be a cheerleader, not only for obviously promoting Southeast Allen County, but actually visiting businesses that are thinking about locating in Allen County and making my pitch personally for Southeast Allen County and why. And once again, it's because it's underdeveloped. It's not overdeveloped, it's underdeveloped. The land is cheaper, great labor force, great roads now with the I-69, 469, 27, 30. It's all there, it's all there. And a willing workforce, a strong willing workforce. So the physical aspects are there. And I believe that being on council, well, I know that being on council, also be able to give a lot of incentives in terms of having businesses locate in that underserved area, which will obviously kick off again residential development, both small and large businesses too. Because I'm very, very strong believer in small business. It'd be great to have a GM over there, but that's once in a 25 to 50 year cycle or something like that ever happens. But I have 100 small businesses there, 50 small businesses there. Will eventually draw the larger businesses. It employs people. So I'm gonna be a cheerleader. And one's gonna take a personal interest as well as going out on my own, no cost to the taxpayers, making proposals for Southeast Allen County for any business that want to locate in Northeast Indiana.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that's been missing at the county level, somebody to be a cheerleader for that area?
I think so, yes. Yes, absolutely, no question. And I admit, it comes because of my economic development background. That's what I did for the city of Fort Wayne, and it turned out well. It takes time, it takes a lot of time. But I've seen the results, I've lived to see the results. I was there before it was developed. I'm talking about the Bearfield Thruway and the 469 runaround. Well, now it's there. So I know it works because it worked when I was there as a young pup coming out of college. Now here I am, an older guy, and it's there. So the same thing can happen in that part of the county, Southwest Allen County basically, absolutely can happen in Southeast Allen County. And the Maple Crest Thruway is going to be the engine that's going to get it going.